That's how I speak, dude. You know,
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another edition of All the Confusion Thursday Night Hangout.
I still have yet to actually hear the intro to the Thursday Night Hangout.
I will play it for you afterwards. How about that?
I'm like, could we just get into the show then so I can hear it?
Absolutely. Right. No, we're not. Well, we're going to continue the show so you can hear it. We're not going to stop now so you can hear it. That would be ridiculous. All right, ladies and gentlemen.
We usually are.
Hello, and I, of course, am your host, Charlie, and I'm joined once again by the perfect hunter himself, Zealeus.
How goes it tonight, Charlie, on this actually beautiful Thursday night in Atlanta?
I know. It's actually kind of fall-ish in Atlanta.
It's not like hot like it was like 3 weeks ago, and it's not cold like it was a week ago. It's just
or humid. I mean, it's actually kind of nice.
Yeah, I feel like I'm in Hawaii.
I don't know. I've never been to Hawaii, so
basically think like 60s and 70s every evening. You step outside. It's beautiful. Okay, so
well, we're just going to jump right here. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, let's do a quick little announcement here, and that is, ladies and gentlemen, there's an amazing convention called OCON. It's going to be happening March 9th through the 11th, 2018, in Atlanta, Georgia, at the Peachtree Corners Marriott. Now, what's cool about this? Well, my friends, it is currently in its final hour of Kickstarter, and you can help us reach our their second stretch goal. They're about $350 short, and of course there's a mystery guest that's going to be determined. So you've got to give some monies that way. OCON it's a gaming convention, but not in a video game sense. It's more board games, pencil and paper, tabletop, card games, and a lot of games that you can't get anywhere else. So.
And a lot of games you can play everywhere.
Right.
So they have everything from the very common, Days of Wonders games. You can find all your Settlers. You can find all your Ticket to Rides. You can find all those. Or, as Charlie mentioned, you can also find your lesser-known games. And the other fun part, too, is you're walking around and you see these games that people are playing. Like, why is this game so popular? You can just stop at a table and be like, hey, what's going on? And it's a very friendly environment. People will be like, dude, sit down. We'll show you how to play. Or, as Charlie said, you can also play with the indie developers, and they'll set up their tables where you can come play and sit at, and you can play a game that's never been played before, and you can give your input to these developers of the game, and you can actually have that impactful influence when you see the developer like, whoa, I did not think of that element in the game. I should probably fix that.
Well, here's a really cool thing. Now, for those of you out there who have not kickstarted, you can of course go to andocon.org, and you can find out all the information about the convention. Of course, then go over to Kickstarter and kickstart it. We highly recommend it. Of course, Alter Confusion will be there in about as many capacities as possible. So you, of course, can find us there. Well, I'll be there the entire time. I don't know about anyone else in the Alter Confusion crew, but you can make gosh darn sure that I'll be there every single day, giving you the awesomeness that is Alter Confusion.
I know I will not be there Friday night. Hopefully the rest of the weekend.
I'll be there the whole weekend.
There you go.
Because I'm that cool.
You are pretty cool, man.
All right, so seriously, go over to Kickstarter. If you haven't kickstarted, or you want to maybe pump up your pledge.
Pump up the jam.
Yes. Book a hotel room. Hotel rooms booked help and get a better price on renting the space for the con.
I saw Craig was running a special where if you got one of the 2 or 3 weekend things, you got a special deal from Nerdburger Games of like free swag. So,
there's really cool stuff. So
yes.
Seriously, go over to Kickstarter and leave our video or our stream going as well, so you don't miss out on any of the cool stuff we're talking about. But you definitely need to go over to the Kickstarter and check it out. All right, ladies and gentlemen, let us get into some other stuff. All right, so let's start off with another shout out, perhaps?
Sure, go for it.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, there's this amazing thing called Extra Life. And of course, the Extra Life 24-hour game-a-thon. Actually, 25 if you're playing over the Saturday-Sunday mark.
Overachiever.
I know. This is it's a nonprofit where all the money goes towards the Children's Miracle Network.
Peace out, Craig.
See you, Craig. And of course, that then goes to the affiliates of that network. And of course, for Atlanta, it is the Children's Healthcare Atlanta, which I'm very supportive and passionate about. I, of course, will be going to do the 24/25-hour game-a-thon. I will be starting Saturday morning at 2 a.m. And we'll be running to 2 a.m. Sunday. Now, I have been very hesitant to tell you what games I'm going to be playing, and that's simply because I was trying to keep it a secret, or maybe I'm, just Have no idea.
So, anticipation's killing me.
All right, so the easy ones, of course, could be Paladins and Smite.
Okay.
Okay, well, let's knock that out of the way. I'm also going to be playing the game by Supergiant Games, Pyre.
Ooh.
That one's also in there. And
Ooh,
then
Supergiant Games makes great games.
heck yeah, it does.
Yeah.
I'm also going to be playing Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm, which is kind of like if you've seen the, I think I did.
Is that the one you've been playing, or? Is
Okay,
that...
so that is like a Dungeons and Dragons version of the Idle Crusaders. Lost Idol, the Crusaders of Lost
But
Idol.
this isn't the same game.
It's not the same game. Same mechanics though.
Same developer?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'll be playing that. I'll also be playing a couple of other games. I'm trying to remember some off the top of my head. I believe I'll probably play, some Sky Hill because that's always a fun one to fall back onto. And then an unannounced horror game.
Ooh.
But here comes the spin. Zealeus, where'd you put the cards? I will also, when Zealeus is here, we will also be playing a little game called Spellslingers.
Apparently, I'm playing Spellslingers.
Spellslingers is the fastest game of wit and wizardry. It is for 2 to 10 players, 7+, and this game takes about 5 to 15 minutes. So it is a super duper quick game. I kickstarted it. It's by a gentleman by the name of Vincent Baker. If you want to know a little bit more about him and the game, you can definitely check out the interview that I did with Vincent a while back. But definitely check. We're going to be playing at least 1 or 2 rounds of Spellslingers, maybe more. We'll see how we're feeling.
Right on.
So we're going to go outside of the video game realm. But have no fear, we'll come back to it. I mean, I've got a huge library of video games.
Yes, you do.
That we can definitely delve into. But for now, the announced games are going to be Paladin, Smite, Pyre, oh my gosh, I already forgot the one, the Forgotten Realm. Sky Hill, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realm.
That's a really long title.
I know it is a very long title. And then, of course, Spellslingers to start off with. Of course, Ask it. So during the thing, there's going to be a list of games on the side that if you donate to Extra Life, I will then play.
Ah.
All right, so I have
Can I put Destiny 2 on there?
I don't have Destiny 2.
What if I play it for you?
Okay.
I have it.
Sure.
That's what I'll be playing all weekend.
So, but anyways, there's going to be games that will be listed there, and if you donate, you could choose one of the games that's listed there. Perhaps there's one that you can ask if I actually have it in my library, because chances are I've got a ton of games in my library that I have no idea are in my Steam library.
That's actually a perfect segue for one of the topics.
I know. Speaking of Steam libraries, let us talk about censored games.
This is where I feel like you could have like tiers. Like somebody's willing to give a good chunk of money. Is Charlie willing to play any game on Steam?
All right, so Twitch would probably boot my ass off for this.
Would they?
Probably.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Anyway, so I'm going to be totally honest with you. I know that there's more adult-oriented games. It's a lot of visual novel type of stuff.
Yeah.
However, in my ignorance, I did being
Innocence.
naive.
You're so innocent.
Yeah, my innocence,
Yes.
my pure innocence. So I know that there's some, games that get a little, expletive or
Risque.
risque, or no, it's not risque or expletive. It's more like
I would call it risque.
Yeah, well, yeah, okay, fine, but it you're like, oh, I know what's happening, but I don't
Erotic?
see it. No, it's kind of like erotic.
Like textual erotic.
I'm trying to.
It's not straight up. It's not straight up nudity.
Right. So here's the thing. Apparently, some of these adult games, for example, let's see here,
Teasing?
Galaxy Girls. Let's see if I got another one here. I thought I had another one here.
Wait, I thought you played these games. You should know the
No,
titles.
Mutiny and some other games. So basically, apparently, some of these, the games on Valve are censored. However, up to this point, developers were able to post an entry on the store page to tell individuals how to get the patch that removes the censored portions of it so you can have an uncensored game.
Oh my.
Valve has since come out all of a sudden and gone, you can no longer do that.
And from what I've read, the thing that gets the developers, but I don't think developers really care that much. Like, okay, we'll just tell people to go to our website because they can post our website, is Valve doesn't really have a very clear directive as far as all this goes.
Right.
Like if you look through like, their developer information, Valve doesn't really have any guidelines for developers to follow as far as this goes. And I think that's more than anything why I find this interesting, not because of the whole, oh my gosh, uncensored erotica stuff. It's what is Valve's guideline as far as this goes.
Well, I mean, the thing is, all these games do have an age gate on them. You have to put in, now of course, let's be honest, no one actually puts in their real birthday.
I just kind of scroll down to the bottom of the year.
Yeah, it's just like, I'm born in 1935.
Yes.
So
I'm
I
an
can just get through the damn
old-time
thing.
gamer.
But
I've been playing since punch cards.
anyways, you would not be that old if you started with punch cards.
I was born in 1935.
No. Punch cards was like, whatever. Whatever. Anyways, so, but here's the interesting thing, okay? So developers can't post about how to obtain the patch to remove the censored pieces.
Yes.
However, a user who's bought the game can post the information with no problem.
Which is weird because, like, when I was looking, when I used to play Banished, and you go to play, download the mods, kind of like the mods for these text games, nobody cared about the developer mods.
Right.
You always want to find, basically the highest ranked third-party mods. That's what we looked for. And so when you're playing it, I'm not really looking for I never go to the developer portal after I download a game. I don't even think about it. If I want mods, I'm going to see the mods page. I wouldn't think of ever going to the developer page to find mods. I'm going to be going to my third-party mods. I kind of wonder why now, what kind of tips Steam off to be all of a sudden like, yeah, we're going to block these.
I don't know. The thing is, this has never been an issue. And then all of a sudden, they sent out a letter to all of the developers that, hey, you can't do this anymore. But if you are an interested party who wants to find out, one, what games have been censored, because we're not just talking about adult games. There's a lot of games on Steam that have been censored. If you're interested to find out what games have been censored and how to remove that censorship, you need to check out the Steam curator group called Cut Content Police.
Oh, wow.
They keep pretty good notes about what games have had something removed. And I say that it doesn't have to do strictly with adult games, because there are games out there that aren't, it's not like, it's not adult erotic stuff. Some of the games include Resident Evil 7, Biohazard, Call of Duty World War II, and Watch Dogs 2.
What, they put like nude mods in there or something?
No, I think it's violence. I think you have to tone down the violence.
See, when it comes to like, there's kind of like a range meter. When it comes to like publishers, developers, like what are they doing? Like up here is like EA, Activision. This for me is like, it's down there. Like as far as my range meter, I'm like,
Yeah, I can understand. It's one of those like, it's like Mortal Kombat, and we're going to date ourselves, but way back in the day, Mortal Kombat had to remove the blood. However, I think it's the Sega version. There was a special key combination that would turn the blood back on.
Oh my gosh!
So this is basically the same thing. If you really want the stuff, and to be honest with you, if you've bought the game, as long as it's, in my opinion, as long as whatever the patch or fix has the developer's blessing, you've bought the game. You should be able to put it on. You still can. It's just that you can't get the information from the official Steam page. You just have to go to the official game page, which is what Zealeus does.
And my guess is for these type of games, the people who are playing, the erotica fiction games, they're probably well aware of where to find these mods anyways, I'm assuming. Like, because it's kind of that niche market already, and you're reading them for a reason. So I'd assume if they're looking for those type of mods, it's going to be they're going to already know where to find them, would be my guess. It's not like they're hiding it behind like a lockbox somewhere.
Yeah, I don't. Anyway, so, hi, Arab Bomb. If you want to donate, you can go to, it depends.
Hello, Mo. We have a couple different ways to donate.
We'll hit this up right now, and then we'll swing back around to it at the end of the show. But we have a Patreon. Patreon, of course, is a way for you to donate monthly to Alter Confusion to help us with all the awesomeness that you see or things that you like. All the money goes towards the conventions we go to. That's nice. That would be awesome. There's also a donate now button below this thing, and it's a PayPal, and it goes to us. And then, of course, that allows us to go to conventions, update our equipment, and whatnot. So if you're interested in that, but let's move on with the show.
Yes.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about CCP. CCP it kind of has a bad taste in my mouth, simply because I was not rejected once, but twice. Thrice. For a job at CCP because there was an office in Atlanta, and I believe that finally, you can, and finally they've completely have shut down the whatchamacallit. They finally shut down the office completely. And that's unfortunate, but it was kind of in the works. I mean, they've been downsizing forever, and of course, CCP in Atlanta was supposed to be the place for World of Darkness MMO, and of course, they jacked that up a bajillion and 97 times. CCP Atlanta is completely gone. They're going to kind of scale back on their VR presence. I know that there's a lot of people who know of CCP simply for EVE Online. That is their big baby. It's their, the thing that they're known.
It's the breadwinner.
It's the breadwinner.
It's what they're known for.
And of course, they've tried to do several different spinoffs. They had Dust 514, which I don't even know if they have if that's still around. I really don't know. But of course, you're
not immersed in the EVE world anymore.
God, no. No. But they've sold off the VR company to another company, and basically all of the stuff that was happening in other offices is going to be consolidated into Charlie's Chess Palace.
Maybe we can do that as like a fundraiser. We could have like a little, thing to raise a little extra money at the middle of the Extra Life. See Charlie's Chess. If you donate extra money
playing chess.
to Extra Life.
Playing chess, not chess.
His massive chess.
Oh my God. I don't have any massive chess. Anyways, whatever. They're going to continue to do EVE Online stuff, which is really what they should be doing. Every single time that they try to branch out, they get basically smacked in the face and they have to come back. And that even includes all the EVE spinoffs. Of course, you have Valkyrie, which is the VR one. They've done another VR project for PlayStation VR. Not 100% sure what the hell that is. And of course, you have the mobile game that's coming out, which I'm like, okay, that's probably not going to last all that long.
But I think the big difference with this one is when they first went to Valkyrie, is they were so bullish and high up and talking about the virtual reality world industry and how exciting this is. And now one of the very clear reasons that they stated of why they're pulling back from the whole VR world is that the market isn't as strong as they thought it would be.
How did they not know? I mean, oh my God. We've been talking about this, especially our other cohort who's not here currently, but Jesse. VR is still kind of that, what's the word he called it?
It's a novelty.
Gimmicky. It's still gimmicky.
Yeah, it is.
Gimmicky.
You just pulled Zealeus.
I don't know. It's awesome. It could be potentially amazing. Now, of course, we've basically gotten to a place where we're all sharing the same SDK, that's software development kit, to help streamline a lot of stuff so you don't have to have a specific headset. However, you still have to have developers who are willing to jump in. Yes, CCP jumped in.
And that's one of the things is you're missing a pretty major developer from Valkyrie. And from what I heard, I never played, but I heard Valkyrie was a pretty solid game. It's they have a pretty solid game and a pretty solid developer pulling out from VR because they don't feel like it's a strong enough industry.
Well, I know that CCP, they had chosen a specific headset and have since basically, for some weird reason, they've basically dropped the PC for the PlayStation, which no one can figure out. And this is probably, you know, kind of why they're here today with the changes they've had to make. I love this terminology, to streamline our company to going forward.
They must have gone to Sigma 6.
Oh my God. Anyway, so I'm sorry for those who are out of a job in Atlanta. Best of luck to the individuals who basically were bought from Manchester. And for those in London or Shanghai or wherever the hell else you are, Reykjavik, Iceland, I hope y'all survive whatever the hell y'all are doing this time.
And like I said, it's really, you know, as always, CCP goes back to the core game of Eve.
Yeah, it's always going to be Eve.
Yeah, they always kind of fall back like, well, we screwed that up. Let's go back to Eve.
But this game is kind of Eve, but it's not Eve. So, yeah, they're not going to... The thing is, that's their baby. That will always be their baby. If something's wrong in that game, every single developer working on any other project is going to be pulled into Eve, which means that every other project that they have either is going to blow up in their face or suffer to some degree and potentially could go off.
So it's kind of like
existence.
the opposite of high-res.
Yeah.
I mean, in terms of, you know, Eve, you know, CCP tries other things and they keep them pulling out. Maybe a little bit too much, I don't know. Versus high-res, you know,
Keep jumping in.
Smite is their moneymaker and they keep on jumping in other things.
Paladins, Smite Rivals, which actually Smite Rivals has been put on hold, but you also have Smite Tactics, which I think is called Hand of the Gods now. And of course, Smite and Paladins are on all the PlayStation and Xbox systems, of course, PC.
What about the Wii?
You mean the Switch?
No, the Wii.
No, they ain't going to the Wii.
You could like go around and hit people with your numchucks. That'd be awesome.
No.
You could shoot people.
No, Zealeus.
No.
No.
Interactive MOBAs.
No.
No.
No. All right, so let's go on to the next thing. And of course, this is actually kind of exciting for a lot of people out there. I'm going to be totally honest with you. I've never played Rocket League, so I could not tell you.
And you never played the Nintendo Switch?
But Rocket League is now headed to the Nintendo Switch.
Hooray!
Starting November 14th, you can play Rocket League. Now, here's the cool thing. There is cross-platform play.
With all of the consoles?
No.
No?
So basically, you can play the game on the Switch starting November 14th. You can also play on the PC and on the Xbox One, and all of them share a common, you know, cross-platform thing.
Nice.
PlayStation has decided, no, which I'm not exactly sure why.
Because they have to uncomment that one line of code.
It's not their code. It's the developer.
Whoever it is, whoever's in charge of the code needs to uncomment that one line of code.
Remember that there was I can't remember what the game was off the top of my head.
It's that PvP game.
Is it the Fortnite?
Yes, Fortnite.
Where they forgot to comment out a line of code so everyone could play everyone in Fortnite. Yep. And of course they had to correct it, and so Sony wouldn't piss their pants. And now Rocket League, of course, is going, well, or the developers behind Rocket League is going, well, you guys still,
Yep.
cross-platforming with the PC as well.
You know, and Rocket League is, sorry.
Go for it.
I was going to say, it's one of those games because, you know, it's extremely popular on both the Xbox and PC. And to me, this is actually a pretty big deal for the Nintendo Switch. To have a game like this that's already cross-platform and extremely popular. And you think about games that you could play on the move while going. You know, you're going on your train or something, and you want to play mobilely with other people. Like, Rocket League's a great game because, you know, you play other games. You know, let's just say, like, Breath of Heaven, not Breath of the Wild. Is that right? The Zelda game?
Yeah.
Is, you know, you sit there, you get really invested in it, whereas Rocket League, you can play, like, you know, really quick matches. You can be in and out. So as far as those games on the go, I don't know if it's actually considered AAA, but, you know, that big-time game to have on the Switch, I think it's a pretty big deal to show, you know, how far the Switch has come. I remember the developer when the Switch even came out, if they were thinking about releasing Rocket League on the Switch. And now with the popularity of the Switch, also it's like, wait a second. So now you got games like Rocket League jumping on the Switch due to its popularity, which is great. I love it.
Now here's a little bit more incentive for you to pick up Rocket League on the Switch, and that is that there are going to be Nintendo-themed skins for your car. Some of them that have been announced are Metroid and Super Mario-themed vehicle cars.
That's actually kind of cool.
Yeah, it is. I mean, that's just, that's, so you get to play cross-platform. However, if you have the Switch, you get something unique that no one else outside of Nintendo Switch players can get.
Now, I do wonder, so, you're talking about PC with keyboard, mouse, Xbox controller. Then you got the Switch with the Joy-Con controllers, or you can use the Pro controller.
Yep.
I think it was a week or two ago, we talked about first-person shooters, and should you be required to play a certain gameplay mechanism if you're playing in esports? Do you have to do keyboard, mouse versus controller?
Right.
The stereotypical FPS is keyboard and mouse, everything else is inferior. I just wonder, from a gameplay standpoint, is there a superior way of playing Rocket League for most people? There's always going to be the exception where somebody's just a master of the Joy-Con controllers. There's always going to be that guy.
Right.
But just overall, I wonder if one of the control mechanisms for Rocket League give you a hand up. That's one of the reasons publishers or developers were so hesitant to do cross-platform on FPSs between consoles and PCs, was because of the whole keyboard and mouse versus controller issue. Of, the controller, just especially for sniper type of weapons, are just typically inferior for aiming.
Well, I would think that also if you were to cross-platform for first-person shooters, if you were to cross-platform between a PC and a console, the PC might, there might be some latency to kind of like level the playing field. And for someone who's got the Twitch skills for PC, that would drive them absolutely nuts.
Oh yeah, that extra 5 milliseconds of lag. That's all you need. The difference between a headshot and a miss on some of those games. Absolutely.
A headshot or a shoulder shot.
Oh my.
But it is really interesting that this wide variety of platforms is going to be available for Rocket League. But
just wait till it comes to your cell phone.
Oh God. But this is, I mean, from what I've seen, I've never played Rocket League, but I've seen people play Rocket League, and it feels like it would basically feel at home on any of the platforms. And I don't think, seeing like the action and the pace and stuff, I don't really think that there's going to be that one platform that's going to rule overall.
Yeah.
I think it's probably going to be a pretty level field across the board. So if you're into Rocket League or you want to try it, and you have a Nintendo Switch, it's coming to you on November 14th.
That's pretty cool.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about a convention that is like literally around the bend. That, of course, is Big Fan of Greenville. Big Fan of Greenville is happening November 17th through the 19th, which is, I think, in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And it's, of course, happening in Greenville, South Carolina. This, of course, is the second year of the convention. It's pretty cool. It's a buddy convention. That's the way I term it or describe it. Basically, you get to hang out and chill with everybody. There's panels, there's vendor tables, there's fan tables, there's cosplayers, there's independent movie screenings. There's just a ton of stuff.
Is there anything they're missing? It sounds like they have everything.
They've got a hotel bar, and they also have a dance party the first night.
Sounds extraordinary.
So that's a convention right there.
Does Charlie get down with the boogie?
No, I sit in the corner sipping on my gin and juice. No, I usually just kind of chill. I'm not a dancing type at these type of conventions.
Fair enough.
But it's a lot of fun. It's reasonably priced. I'm almost 100% sure the hotel that this thing is happening at is sold out. However, it's Greenville. There's a ton of hotels. There's a ton of stuff to do outside of the convention, just in case you need a breather. I highly recommend it. Just Google the way that Zealeus does, Big Fan of Greenville, and you can get all the information
to the Googleplex.
To the Googleplex! All right, let's talk about the GameStop subscription service.
GameStop's still around?
GameStop, that brick and mortar store that basically kicks publishers and developers in the balls over and over and over and over and over.
What's a brick and mortar store?
Means that it's physically there. You have to walk into the place.
People actually still walk into stores to buy games?
Yeah.
What is this madness you speak of?
Individuals who are too damn lazy or don't understand what the internet is.
Isn't it less lazy to actually just like be a bum and sit in your pajamas while drinking a beer and order your Amazon video game versus walking to a store, you gotta get gas, you gotta see people in public.
You might catch an incurable disease.
No, I'm done leaving the house. I'm just staying here tonight.
All right, so anyways, GameStop is basically, they've announced that they're going to be launching, I believe, January of 2018, that they're going to be launching a subscription service for $60. I think it's 6 months long. And basically, first of all, you have to be a GameStop Power Up member in order to take on the subscription service. But basically what's going to happen is you can play as many used games that you can or you want to play at GameStop. You check out one game at a time, and once you're done, you can go back to GameStop and throw it back at them. So think about the amount of gas you got to use. But anyways, so here's the cool thing. At the end of the 6-month period, you get to select one of the games that you have played within that 6-month period, and you get to keep it.
I think if I actually played console games still, which I don't, this is actually a pretty cool deal. Because the majority of console games, even for the Xbox One, and actually correct me, console players, they still come in the cartridge format. Would be my, see, obviously disc now, not cartridge, or the Nintendo Switch, where it's still all cartridge based. So if
3DS, that's a cartridge.
Yep. So if I played the consoles, this would actually be a very appealing proposition for basically unlimited play of the used games for $60 for 6 months, and I get to keep one at the end. I'm like, I would actually seriously look into this service if I was into the console games.
Now there's a couple things that are very curious about this. The easy one is why you have to be a Power Up member, and that is because if you are, it's like a library card. They can actually track all the games that you've played, so that when you go, oh, this is the game I want that I'm going to end up getting after the end, they'd be like, okay, cool, yeah, you actually played it. Now here's my other question.
Okay.
Let's say that you go to more than one GameStop, okay? So are you, when it's time to choose, are you allowed to go to a bunch of different GameStops and find the best, cleanest version of that used game so that there's no like crazy ass scratches on it? Or is your subscription service locked to a specific location?
That's a great question.
Do you get to look through, like, let's say you Battlefield 1. At the end of it, you're like, I want Battlefield 1. Do you get to look at all the discs for Battlefield 1 and find the one that looks the best? Or are they just going to literally just grab at random, put it in the box and go, here you go?
I mean, what about used games at GameStop for the 360? I could choose whatever disc I wanted, basically. So I would assume so. I don't know. It's an interesting deal. Yeah, I mean, we're PC Master Race around here, so for me, I'm like, for me, it doesn't affect me. But if I were still buying used games, I'd be like, this is interesting. Or if I wanted to, undust the 360 and find the power cable for it, it could be appealing.
It seems interesting, but at the same time, first of all, I don't like GameStop. I'll be very honest with you. I do not like GameStop. Simply because once upon a time, I was a developer, and GameStop's used game sales practices is literally a punch to the cojones. No. It's Sam Grizzle ads. They can't give you a download code. CDs are like 8-track tapes at this point. No, it has to be physical copies. They made a statement about their digital library, and they don't want to mess with that.
Correct. Yeah.
Simply because is there a way to make sure that 100% that game gets uninstalled when you select another one? I don't think there is. I think that's why they're doing physical copies. But real quick, the reason why I don't like GameStop and its used game sales is that they get to pocket all the money on used game sales, and developers and publishers don't get any. And I'm not going to go into the percentage breakdown, but because of this, there are a lot of developers and publishers who go out of business or are not able to create a sequel to an amazing game simply because people keep turning it in and people keep buying the used version instead of the new version. So all of the analytics are completely.
Now I'm perfectly okay with used games. I actually wished that there was for online games, I wish that there was a more reputable way to sell your used games online. Big one is G2G, is that right?
G2A.
G2A, thank you. But I also don't support G2A because it's extremely sketchy. because there's no way when you buy, if you go online and you go to buy a game, at least if I go to GameStop, I can at least be fairly confident it was legitimately purchased once. If you go on G2A, the problem is if you buy that key from G2A, there's a very decent likelihood that that was never even a legitimate key to start with, or it was back charged, or something sketchy happened.
No, they've
tried to work on it.
No, they've had to fix it because of so many people coming down on
I
that.
still just don't.
So
maybe
any
I'm
seller
just
has to basically put in all their information that has to be verified. But still, you
maybe
still
it's
could
just
get a
rubbed me wrong
janky
in the
key.
past. It still rubs me.
Right.
Maybe if Steam did it, I would trust it more. But just their past shenanigans in the past, I just stay away from them.
Steam just gives you Steam sales. They don't have to do.
Well, this is
breakdown.
yes, this is true. Yeah, that's a good point. So this is very interesting. Problem. I kind of joked to Charlie like this is 10 years too late. At the height of the used game sales for the consoles. I mean, everybody's doing it really before everybody's, because even now you can do all the digital downloads with with the Xbox One and the PS4. I mean, I think that's partly why GameStop is doing this, is physical copies of games are dying, not just for the PC. I mean, they're dead for the PC, but they're also dying for the consoles. It's a slower death for the consoles.
Because
for
people
sure.
are still trying to hold on to those physical copies. Real quick, ladies and gentlemen, there is still 20 minutes to go on the EndoCon Kickstarter project. So you still have time to go over to Kickstarter, type in EndoCon, and you too can pledge some money towards EndoCon. EndoCon has successfully been funded, but we're trying to go get stretch
We gotta
goals
get the
right now.
second stretch goal for the guest.
Do it! So, ladies and gentlemen, if you've already pledged, please, if you have the ability to, just pump up your pledge a little bit. If you haven't, you still have time to go over to endocon.org to find out the information, then sprint over to Kickstarter and make sure that you pledge before the time is up.
Sprint, is it like a brick and mortar store that you have to run to?
No, I have no idea what that is.
A brick and mortar or Kickstarter? That'd be really weird.
That would be very weird. EndoCon! Okay. And ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to the next topic, and that one is a very popular PvP game in PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. Not just a game, this is Battle Royale.
What?
This game is scheduled to go to the Xbox One, and it is going to go into early access, which I didn't even know that Xbox One had early access, but sure, why not? So, sorry, I lost my notes here for, is this it?
I don't know.
Yes, here we go. So it's going to go into early access starting on December 12th. And this is going to be slightly different than the PC. They're going to be basically, it's the same game, but they're going to be developing on different schemes, and at one point they're hoping to come together. Apparently, a lot of people they don't call it PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds. They call it PUBG, PUBG. It's the most popular game on Steam right now.
Really?
With, let's see here, I can't remember how many, did it list the number?
Millions!
Oh no, it's like 2.2 million concurrent players. So this is coming out to the Xbox One. They're coming close to doing the version 1.0 for the PC. So they're both basically in early access. They're trying to iron out all the kinks. They're trying to have you, the gamers, the lovers of these games where we basically shoot and bash people over the heads for fun, but in a way that you understand that once you stop, you don't do that anymore.
Wait, I don't do this in real life too?
No.
Oh.
But they are going to do, there is talk, though it's not confirmed, that there will be cross-platform play between the Xbox One and the PC. However, that's not been confirmed. But if you do hop on this game December 12th on the Xbox One, there will be some exclusive Xbox One gear that you'll gain. Now,
there's always a but.
Well, the thing is, this is a game that's all about in-game purchases, okay? Currently, there's no plans to have any in-game purchases for the Xbox One while doing this early access.
Interesting.
That's the little at the end there. Of course, they're going to be putting it in there as soon as it's ready.
It's free to play, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah.
And of course, you're going to buy your skins and whatnot. If you're going to play on the Xbox One, you will get 3 limited edition cosmetic packs. The PUBG Warrior Pack, the PUBG Accessory Pack, and the PUBG Tracksuit Pack. Like I said, no plans to feature any in-game purchases in the Xbox game preview version. The cosmetic add-ons will be the only items players can purchase during the preview period. Pricing for cosmetic packs was not announced.
So I ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
So I know this probably isn't a game that you're going to buy just because it's not your alley. But, so I know usually early access, Charlie's like, stay away from early access. And I understand why. But for a game like this, where it's already pretty darn established on the PC, it's pretty obvious that they know what they're doing. Do you have any different opinions about supporting early access in general when it's a situation like this, where they're doing the Xbox, where it's pretty clear they already have a track record and they know what they're doing, and it's also going from PC to Xbox One, which is a much easier port than it used to be, at least.
Well, I think one of the things is there's the issue I have with the vast majority of early access that you're paying to play it. I think when you change it to it's free to play and there's in-app purchases, that allows for an individual to jump in early. And yeah, you can have a buggy thing, but that's totally up to you.
Okay.
It's not a hit on your wallet unless you want to buy the in-game stuff, and also kind of eases back the vulnerability of the player, because there's a very good chance, there's a lot of early access games that don't actually make it to the end. They drop. But
Or they
as soon
stay
as you
in beta
pay
for like 8 years.
as soon as you pay to play the game, and if it were to go, you're already out that, what, 40, 20, 40, 60 bucks. This kind of reminds me of, and I know you had to pay to play this, but it kind of is like a Minecraft type of situation. Or hell, I mean, look at Paladins. Paladins, I think, just came out of beta, but it's been there. I mean, Smite's still in beta for the consoles. Once again, they're free to play games.
Paladins came out of beta?
For the PC, I think.
Oh, it's gold now?
I think so.
Oh, cool.
I don't know. When I play
I didn't
after
know that.
this, I'll look to see if the beta tag's still on the title.
That'd be interesting.
However, they did do like they did do some changes in the game, cosmetic changes, to make it look prettier.
Ooh, pretty
Yes.
colors.
But yeah, it's very interesting that, because technically the PC version of this game isn't completely gold, but they're really close. But they're like, you're basically, why not? You've got a stable game that 2.2 million concurrent users are already playing on the PC. Why not expand the where you can play the game?
Well, of course, it's kind of that question for, now that we've kind of moved to these online-centric games that are continually being developed, what is true to that line between being beta and gold? I mean, how many gold AAA titles do we see come out that are buggier than hell?
They should be beta, but they're not.
Exactly. And so now you have games like this that are still beta, where certain other publishers may have already said, oh, this is time for the limelight. So it's, the whole, dichotomy between, beta and gold. I think early access is a whole different kind of ballpark. You really kind of have to investigate that.
And then, of course, there's so many different definitions of early access.
Yes. Some are truly early access, where it's like...
It's we ran out of money. Let's see how many people actually buy in, and maybe we'll finish the game.
Yep. And then some early access is more like Battlegrounds, where it's like, you know what? We're 99% sure this is going to work. So now you're just kind of like, okay, I'm just jumping in the bandwagon, and some are kind of in between.
Well, actually, one of the biggest issues that we've had with early access games is basically you're paying to beta test. With this, you're beta testing, yeah, you're bug testing, you're going to be reporting a bunch of stuff. However, you could do it without a hit to your wallet.
So one of my favorite games of all time, just for the PvP, was World of Warcraft Vanilla Altaric Valley. It was 40v40, and you would, it was nuts, because you go to bed, wake up the next day, jump into Altaric Valley, it was the same damn battle raging on with some of the same people. And I was so pissed, because I think it was Cataclysm. I got the subscription for one reason and one reason only. I wanted to relive the days of Altaric Valley. I was like, this is awesome. I want to relive the days of 4-day raging on battles. I learned that they changed the hell out of it, and now it'll be over an hour no matter what you did. I was like, I'm done with World of Warcraft. So I hear you saying Grizzled. So when you said, the giant wars, when I think of my giant wars...
100,000 versus 100,000.
Yeah, that's a little different than 40 versus 40 or 62 versus 62.
Yeah.
Could you imagine the server infrastructure needed for that shit?
Well, it kind of reminds me, and I don't even know what the hell ever happened to this game. There's a game that was supposed to be touting like huge, massive wars. It's called Ruse, R-U-S-E.
Okay.
And basically, you start as a private and you build yourself up through your battle actions and all that stuff and a lot of other stuff. And then you had to form squadrons and platoons and all that stuff to battle other guys. I don't know whatever happened to that, but I swear that they're trying to say like 2000 v 2000.
I'm just trying to think of the scaling of the server infrastructure and the net code.
Nuts.
And
Absolutely nuts.
I mean, scaling that is extremely hard because now you're trying to like balance the latency and lag between exponential growth. I just can't imagine.
Well, the other thing was that when this game Ruse, I swear to God that's the name of it, R-U-S-E, came out, one of the features was they were developing it for the Microsoft Surface. And I'm not talking about the tablet, I'm talking about the damn table.
Oh, good Lord.
Yeah.
The one that nobody actually owns.
Well, actually, a lot of people own, some
Businesses
restaurants
do.
own it. Yeah, exactly. Businesses,
Yeah.
not individuals, unless you were like made of money. Which is
never
cool.
read
If you've got if you're made of money, you've got a service that you're not using, you can just send it to Alter Confusion. I can give you the address to send it to. I mean,
I remember I was in school, the big thing they always like to show off was this smart table. So if you don't know, smart boards are basically interactive displays that you mount on a wall. Pretty cool, not cheap. But they always like to promote these damn smart tables. And don't get me wrong, they were the coolest damn technology, kind of like a smart table where you can do all this interactive stuff. But I'm like, no school's gonna buy these things for $5 a pop. Like, they're cool. I've never talked to a single school that's ever owned one because nobody can actually afford them.
Mm-hmm.
Now I want one again. Man, those are so cool.
all right, so let's go in. So we have two topics that we'd like to get into. Hopefully we've got enough time for both of them, but we're just gonna shoot it. Do you want to do the book or the map one?
Let's go with the map one first.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's talk about something that has been prevalent in a lot of games, especially open world games, and that is the minimap.
The Minimap.
Are they good for the game, or are they actually hurting the game? There are a lot of people out there who believe that the minimap actually draws your eye away from the action, and you become more conscious of the minimap on like how to do things instead of actually exploring and experiencing the world. Some of the games out there that have removed the minimap have basically added back the basically a feature to look at a map. Your character will literally like lift up a map and it'll show you basically the full screen map. And then when you're done. So my question for you guys and Zealeus as well is, do you think that what would happen if games started removing the minimap, or are there games out there that have to have a minimap for you to be able to play it?
So two different games I think of off the top of my head. One is Diablo 3, or actually any of the Diablos. You know how to play that damn game with the minimap. Like I have my minimap up, and I just try to like find my quickest way to like the next floor. So a game like that would like drive me nuts without having a minimap because you don't know where your destination actually is. So like you're trying to find your way around a maze, kind of, especially having to backtrack and go back and forth. I need that minimap. But now, for instance, I'm going to go with the stuff, like right now I'm playing Destiny 2. There's a minimap. The minimap is effing worthless. The only thing the minimap shows is the stupid other players in the game who can't even bloody talk to in public chat. That pisses me off.
Uh-oh.
Anyways,
Here we go.
So like that's the only thing you see in your minimap. It's the dumbest minimap I've ever seen because all you see is a little bit of bubbles for other players. I don't really care about the other players in the game because you can't talk to them. But what they do is like if you're on a quest, because the game has quest, is your screen has like a basically little reticle which is go this way. It doesn't like if you press your M, pull up your map like Ghost Charlie's saying, your quest marker, like once you start it, doesn't even show up. The only place it shows is in the screen. And the reason I, thinking about it, like I actually like the way they did that. So the article Charlie was kind of looking at about this is basically it's an author and he rails against mini-maps. And one of his points was, and this is exactly what I do in the Diablo games, I don't even look at the world around me because I'm so busy getting to my next point via the map. Whereas in Destiny 2, because it's just like a point on the terrain or where I'm looking around as my character, I get actually much more immersed in the world than I would.
So it's an indicator that when you turn the camera, you can see like an indicator.
Yeah, it's very. I mean, you know how.
I know in Skyrim,
Thank you. Yes,
basically all the other scrolls,
yes.
it's got like this this like meter at the top that basically
Correct.
shows you this is a town, this is
Well,
blah
here's
blah
the
blah.
thing. Okay, so the way Skyrim has it, yeah, so it's similar to that, but it's just one marker on your map, on your screen. It's all you see. And I've actually come to really like that because I'm forced to see the map. On the other hand, I hate the Skyrim style. I abhor it because I end up getting really confused because the way it scales, like you're trying to pan from side to side, and you got that thing at the top, I just hate it. That does not do it for me. The one thing I will actually go back to Destiny real quick, that the minimap does work for me. I think this is more first-person shooter centric. Is when you're being attacked on multiple sides, your minimap does light up on where you're being attacked from. Because what some FPSs do without the map is they try to kind of like point at where it's coming from, like behind you or something.
They bloody up the side of the screen.
And like that just confuses me. Whereas like I look at my minimap and see, I'm like, yes.
I actually like the Skyrim way of doing things, as the icons are bigger the closer you are. You also have the ability to go to the map and select where one of your quests is, and then put a waypoint there.
Yeah.
And then it puts the waypoint on that little thingy there. And you're right. I think I love to have the minimap. I want as much information as possible because I hate it when I get lost. However, I'm just like Zealeus. When I have the minimap, I'm more likely to look at the minimap than I am with the game around me. Unless, of course, I start hearing like, battle noises, and then I look up. Otherwise, I'm like, okay, so it says we have to go to the right. Okay, so I'm moving up to the right. Oh wait, here's the killer for me. Okay, so the vast majority of the games have like the arrow that indicates which direction you're going in.
Sure.
And so I'm watching my arrow on the mini-map to make sure I'm going the right way. Like, okay, and also the freaking compass that's on the mini-map. I'm like, okay, I got to go north, so I gotta move this. Okay, and then okay there. So, I mean, I understand that it would be cool to not have the minimap. However, it would definitely need to have more information, because there are a lot of games that really want to simplify or clean up your heads-up display. Yep. They don't want you to have close to anything at all. They want you to be able to experience the game without clutter.
And that's definitely movement we're seeing.
Right,
Absolutely, yes.
Because, well, first of all, if you got companies that are doing photorealistic stuff, and you're not actually watching it, you're actually just watching this itty-bitty, like, craptacular graphic in the bottom, or the top, or wherever the fuck you put it. Sorry, my language.
Why do we spend all that damn money on the photorealism?
I know. It's like, because I know Grand Theft Auto, I think Grand Theft Auto was one of the cases where you're just like, why do you have that? And for me, personally, it's because I need to know where to go.
Yep.
But it's interesting.
I think it's also, what does the developer have in mind? I think in a way you can almost kind of build your game. I mean, obviously when they made Destiny, they had it in their mind, this is how we're going to do quest markers.
Right.
Hey, Greg! I'm excited to hear the final tally. I think they had that in mind. And obviously Skyrim and those series, they had it in mind. Elder Scrolls Online. They had the same exact style of doing quest as the other ones.
Well, I think
obviously they have that in mind.
Right. I think this graphic that I grabbed, I think it's from Lotro. I'm almost 100% that's Lotro.
No.
It's not?
No.
Who is it?
Goldshire?
Yeah.
World of Warcraft.
Are you sure?
That's the starting area for the Alliance humans in World of Warcraft.
Well, there you go. I don't know. It looked like Lotro.
I promise you.
That's an old looking HUD then.
Oh, that's like the original Goldshire of World of Warcraft. Yes, that is old school. Wow.
Well, there you go.
With a little question mark, because that's where you go. I think at MMOs, I don't know, because Elder Scrolls Online did it. It just depends on the game. I'm not it's the author who I read, like, he was very against them. Okay, that's fine. Like, for me, it just depends on the game. It really does. Another one, like, maybe also it works, I think, for RPGs. The other one is Path of Exile. Same thing. Guess what I'm following in Path of Exile?
The minimap.
Oh yeah, I'm just following my minimap. That's all I'm seeing. So it just depends on the game, on how they do it. I don't really have strong feelings either way. But I do like how some of the games have been doing it lately, where you're not required to use the minimap because, let's be honest, when you're playing Path of Exile or Diablo 3, it's not all about the pretty graphics. I mean, it's not the photorealism. Whereas when you're playing like a Tomb Raider or you're playing a Destiny or a Far Cry, you want to see the pretty graphics.
You would hope.
Yes. So I think in cases like those, I see more the argument for like, yeah, let's not have you like look at the minimap only. Let's try to make the game, because in a way, gaming is about tricking the player.
Right.
And that's what they did in Destiny. They tricked me into not using my map to do quests.
Right.
Very well. And I think actually, I don't like it, but Skyrim does that pretty well too, with the way they do their quest, because they can just follow your quest markers at the top. So I think they've done a pretty good job of like, how can we kind of like rethink the mini map to force players to look at the world around us.
Well, I think it's actually interesting because the mini map came around because people are sick and tired of looking at a map that took up the entire screen and basically took you out of action. So that's when the mini map came out. Now we've got so many people going, I'm so distracted by this damn thing that I'm not actually experiencing the game. So I want to get rid of that. But I need a way to look to see where the hell I am and what I need to do. So I'm going to pull up a full screen map. So we basically just went whoop.
You know what I really wish they could do is, like, for people those that have dual screens, like say you're playing World of Warcraft, right? I can have, the main game here and have a secondary map up there.
See, that's the thing that I'm surprised. Well, okay, so that
I just thought it now.
That's actually what you would do in
3 minutes.
I think it was Zelda Legend of the Four Swords, where you'd plug in your GPA, Game Boy Advance, and you'd be able to have like all of your inventory stuff and whatnot on your GPA, and it wouldn't clutter up your screen. However, you have like all your vital information, which is really cool. However, that is a little too much. So it is really like a secondary monitor.
When I first started playing World of Warcraft, I mean, we're talking 2006 now? 2003. I remember going to Stormwind. Pulling up the map, I could see stuff. But I had such a crap-tacular laptop that when I turned off the main map, my mini-map was just black.
Nice.
Until I got like a real computer, I just assumed when you're in cities that they didn't show you a mini-map. Like, actually, there's no mini-map in cities. You have to find your own damn way around.
Too many people on there.
Exactly. So I think it just depends. They don't bother me anyway, but yeah.
All right, so ladies and gentlemen, let's get on to another story. And this one is was kind of crazy. Okay. So the question is, are books an acceptable way of tying up loose ends? The reason why I ask is that there is a series of books that's going to be coming out for Mass Effect Andromeda to basically try to loosen some tight ends. No, there's at least one race out there that really didn't give any love or attention in there, and that's the Quarians, and they want to. So they're going back. They're going to write a book called Mass Effect Annihilation by Catherine M. Valente, and it will be released June 26, 2018, and it basically will resolve what happened aboard the Quarian Ark Kelasiae, which was introduced in Andromeda, and then...
So for those who don't know, who have never played Mass Effect Andromeda, basically the story is, and this is before the Reapers attack Earth, is you're sent on like the ship, I forget what to actually call the ships now, but you're sent on ships, mostly segregated by race, hundreds of millions of light years away, and you find all the other race ships except for the Quarians and some other minor races. And so when
Quarians are not minor! Okay.
And so, well, they were awesome in the game, yes. But when Mass Effect Andromeda ends, obviously it was meant to not just be a single title, a single title in the series. It's supposed to be a trilogy, I'm sure, just like the original Mass Effect. And they ended up without having finding the Quarian ship. And so that's why they're now coming out with the book to tie it up. Acceptable, I don't know if that's the right word choice, in that they're doing it not because they want to, it's because they obviously wanted to have a follow-up game, but Andromeda was panned so much, people gave it so much crap, that they're just like, screw it, we're not doing a sequel.
Well, let's say that there was potentially going to be a sequel. However, there was something in the game that probably would not be resolved, that a lot of people, and let's say the developers thought, oh, it's minor, but all these fans keep going, what the hell happened with this one? Would that be sufficient instead of, like, I don't know, adding a DLC or something to kind of explain it? Because the thing is, it's probably going to be cinematics to explain what's going on. It's probably not going to be all that interactive unless you grab a character who's on that thing to really, kind of like a walking sim where you're basically just walking through and then you find out the information. Is a book capable of basically filling in the holes for that.
I think as long as the developers have really fulfilled the storyline as they intended it, then yes, I think books are fine. I look at, what happened with Mass Effect Andromeda is it's because they could not finish the actual storyline. But if they're just, let's be honest. Woo! Nice! Woo! 75-50, yo-yo! Let's be honest. You can't, with a game like Mass Effect with that much storyline, because there is a lot of storyline, you're never going to fill all the holes. I mean, that's any series like that. Not just video games, but movies, books are always going to have those loose ends. It's just the fact of life. I mean, you have a book, you're going to get more loose ends out of the book most likely. People are going to be like, well, what about this? There's
See you,
always...
Greg.
What?
I said see you, Craig.
Oh, see you, Greg. Thank you for coming by. I'm very excited. 75-50 is awesome.
The EndoCon Kickstarter is done. However, that doesn't mean that, ladies and gentlemen, that you're not able to get any tickets to EndoCon.
Ooh, no.
It's just that the Kickstarter has ended. There was a total of 96 backers, and the final tally was $7,750. So, all right.
That's an average of about $80 a person. That's pretty hefty.
So here's something for me personally. When I hear, a book's being applied to maybe expand the universe or perhaps fill in some holes, it's cool. However, I don't want it to be part of the main story. I think I'm okay with the fact that, yeah, we forgot to really talk about this one ship or this, what the hell happened with this colony ship or something, and they write about it. That's totally okay. But for them to expand, the main story into book and then try to make another game. They're probably not going to make another game, but let's just say they do. You expand the real story, the main story into a book, and then you jump back into video to a game format. It would just be really weird for me.
Well, let's look at what happened with Star Wars.
That's what I was going.
Yeah. So for those who don't know, so Disney bought Star Wars, LucasArts a couple of years ago, and there's this whole thing called the Star Wars Extended Universe. And then Disney came in, looked at this extended universe, it's like, Star Wars Extended Universe doesn't exist anymore. Bye-bye. And that's one of the reasons is because some of the stuff kind of went off the rails.
Well, yeah, there was some very bad stuff out there. And to be honest with you, LucasArts should have kind of, regulated some of the stuff instead of going, oh yeah, you can definitely have a Darth Death Plague Maul guy. That's totally okay.
But he's actually a secret agent for the Jedi, but he's then tricked by Darth Vader, and he didn't even know he was being tricked. And
but it was actually not Darth Vader. It was someone impersonating Darth Vader named Darth Criminal Sponge. I mean, the thing is, yeah, some of the stuff was absolutely just like balloon, like crap. However, there were a lot of amazing pieces that really brought in the fans into that extended universe, and people basically saw it as the real deal, and for everything to be thrown out, not just the crap, but everything.
They just cleared the side. Which, to be fair, I think if you're Disney, I think it would have been really hard to say, we're keeping these 3 books. It was just a lot easier to just say.
I don't think they sneezed. You can't say achoo. That's gesundheit.
Yes. It was just to clear the slate and say everything but these first 3 movies exist. It was just, let's just do it. So I totally get why they did it. And to be fair, the next 3 movies help to justify what they said. So I totally get it.
Choose Your Own Adventure. I love those books. I miss those books so bad. There was actually, I know Sam Grizzle said, last sci-fi book I read. Run, turn to page 50. Fight, turn to page 93. There was a game, I think it was for a cell phone, or maybe a PC, I can't remember. I reviewed it. It's basically like a Choose Your Own Adventure game with some dice rolling thrown in there, which is kind of cool. But like Star Wars to me kind of rubs me the wrong way by the fact that they threw everything out. Because, like I said, there was some stuff that really shaped the universe, and because there was such a huge break from one piece to another, I'm not including the first three because
Yeah.
what we're talking about is, so you had Force Awakening and The Last Jedi. Those two happened after the original three.
Yep.
So there's a huge amount of time that has elapsed between the third one, or I guess the sixth one, and 7 and 8. So they built this thing to basically allow people to understand some of the really in-depth stuff. And people basically, this was part of the Star Wars religion.
But that's
basically.
also allowed Disney also do stuff like Rogue One to, let's be honest, make money off that gap.
I can't really complain about Rogue One because it was done by Gary Whitta, and Gary Whitta is the dude that literally I will buy any of his stuff. So even if it's shitacular, with the fact that the actors can't really act.
So speaking of Star Wars,
After Earth, what?
Speaking of Star Wars, it's because Disney has such a stranglehold on the movies right now between Star Wars and Marvel. They're setting a new share precedent for this Star Wars movie, where they're getting a higher share percentage of the movie sales at movie theaters than any movie ever before, about 5%.
Well, they have to, because movie theaters are actually starting to fail.
Well, it's also because Disney can do whatever they want.
Of course.
And they also have to show the movie for a minimum of 4 weeks at only their largest screen.
Of course.
Yeah. I just thought it's interesting. Disney is such, between, having LucasArts and Marvel, I mean,
And
those are
ABC.
I mean, those are the two most popular
And
movie franchises.
ESPN.
They're pretty dang powerful.
Yeah.
They own a lot of the media.
They're not as powerful as Google.
The Goo.
Google basically owns some random thing in every industry.
And they own all of your data.
Well, yeah, of course. Which, by the way, you could go on to Google Maps, and if you dig deep enough, you could find a very in-depth map of your exact location over the past year.
It's very creepy.
It is quite creepy.
Yes.
Of course, there's a way to turn it off, but vast majority of individuals don't know how to do that.
If people want to come visit my cat at my condo, more power to them. They're more than welcome. Especially if they're single.
Well, then.
Hey, I'm just saying.
All right, so
My cat's single.
Here's a hypothetical, okay? So let's say that you have, how do I do this? Okay, so let's say that you have a video game that's a trilogy, okay?
Sure.
At the end, let's just say there's two heroes. One disappears, one dies a gruesome death. Okay, so then you have a series of books. Let's just say, I don't know, just for shits and giggles, let's say there's 5 books. And literally, they go into the disappearing guy, when he disappeared, and all of his stuff, and then they release a new game. In your opinion, if it's going to utilize the player who's basically been brought through these 5 books, do they have to stay right to the letter, or can the developer either rewrite history or just take the pieces they want out of the book series?
I think it honestly depends on how popular is the book series. I think if it becomes,
let's say that it's like Harry Potter level.
Then I think you have to keep to the book levels, or as much as you can. I mean, there's always, let's be fair, when you're changing mediums from like book to movie, movie to book to video, there's always going to be some deviation from the original story,
right? Because
it's just a different art form, and I'm okay with some deviation. I know Charlie's like, you must be pure to the original source material. But like, going from Harry Potter to the books to the movies, I was fine with. Now, like, if Voldemort had died like in book 4, and then Hermione and Ron got, pregnant
in
book
5.
Like, book 2, then we got issues, okay? But as long as you're staying like predominantly to the storyline, I'm fine with it. But if you just totally throw it out the window with the pop-up lights, let's say you're that popular, then yeah, you should stick to it. But let's just say, going back to the Star Wars universe, for instance, there's a lot of books that people just don't even acknowledge their existence.
However, there were quite a few books that they basically preached as canon.
Yeah.
That were just booted to the curb.
But here's the problem, though. So let's take video games. Video games are still... A game like Mass Effect, let's take that for instance. That's still, when you consider the media of between video games and books and movies and television series still has a relatively small population in relation to everything else. You know, my parents don't know what the hell Mass Effect is, and yet you look at something like Harry Potter, everybody knows what the hell Harry Potter is.
Right.
So when you look at the books, let's just say there's books for, I don't even know if there are books for Mass Effect, but if there are,
I think there are.
there probably, I'm sure there are actually, just because it's so popular. But there's books for Mass Effect, you also have a much smaller audience which you have to appease. Versus Harry Potter, now you have the entire world who knows every time, you know, J.K. Rowling breathes a word about Harry Potter, it's front page news on CNN. Versus any video game isn't going to show up on there unless it's like, I don't know. I can't even think of a video game that's been the front page of CNN.
Something that's caused a controversy.
Yes, you're right about that. Oh, wait. Did you find a book? Mass Effect Initiation.
Here. Mass Effect Revelation. Mass Effect Library Edition
Looks
Volume
like
1.
the Glimmer Man. Who's still one of my favorite characters.
The adult coloring book? What?
Oh my gosh!
Mass Effect Deception. Mass Effect Discovery. Mass Effect another D word.
Wait! Do you see that?
Mass Effect Art and the Internet in the 21st Century. Critical anthology in art and culture with a cat. No.
I don't think that's actually the game.
No, it's not. That's cool, but it's not. I don't know. It just for me, once again, I think that if you utilize books for a video game, I think that it should basically fill the gaps in like minor pieces, or you know, that's something that's not going to affect the main storyline, simply because of the Star Wars thing, where if you get so engrossed in the books between, you know, Gamer Movie 3 and Gamer Movie 4,
Yep.
if you basically read the books and believe that's canon and it involves main characters and then it doesn't continue on in the next game, that's a turnoff. So do like the minor stuff, you know, like maybe accidentally, like what Defiance did, where you're basically, Defiance happens in St. Louis, but the game happens in like San Francisco. You might see one of the main characters just kind of run through, give you one quest, and then they're off again.
Yep.
So it's in the same universe, however, it doesn't evolve the main characters to the point where you're basically following them point to point to point to point or playing as them.
Well, that's kind of what happened in Rogue One.
Right. Yeah. So I think that would, you could grow a universe by doing like the minor details. And that's, you know, kind of what Star Wars did. It's just unfortunate that a lot of the shit that happened, or all the stuff that happened in the books between the movies, was basically thrown out. Because like, once I said, I haven't read like any of the books, but those people, those die-hard Star Wars people are like, this is absolute bullcrap, because this should have translated easily and need to be put in the movies to appease the masses.
Oh,
now, of course, let's be honest. Appeasing the masses, not the first thing that production studios or designers or artists do. Is where can we get the most bang for our buck? And just to hell with anything that people, because the thing is, at the end of the day, people are going to go see the Star Wars movie, even if it isn't. They threw everything out the window. If it says Star Wars, people will come see it.
And the vast majority of people probably don't even know that there is a Star Wars extended universe in the first place.
Only the biggest and most devoted of individuals and fans would actually know that.
And then the even more devoted are the ones who have actually even read the books. It's a whole extra level of devotion.
Yeah. To be honest with you, I like Star Wars. I also like Star Trek. I've never read a Star Wars book. I have read Star Trek books because they were like early adult books back in the day, where you go to Starfleet. It was all about Starfleet Academy and a young Worf.
Did you feel like you joined the Starfleet?
Yeah, I did.
Nice.
The masses are asses. Alexander Hamilton. I like it.
Yeah, there's truth to this.
I like it a lot. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I believe we've reached the end of our show. So I want to thank everybody who came by, said hello, and all that stuff. Also, a real quick note, congratulations to OCON Kickstarter for not only reaching their goal, but also surpassing it. So, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in to the Ultra Confusion Thursday Night Hangout. For myself, Charlie, and Zealeus, it's been a pleasure giving you everything coming out of our heads, our mouths, and of course, our hearts. We'll be back next Thursday to give you some more awesomeness. But also remember that Charlie's Extra Life campaign starts at 2 a.m. Eastern Standard Time on Saturday morning, and I will be playing until 2 a.m. on a Sunday. So please stop by. Please continue to donate. I know we've reached our goal, but it would be amazing to continue to raise money for this amazing thing. And of course, if you donate, I will have that list of games on the side that then you get to choose what game I'll be playing. So incentive. So thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you soon.
Remember, kids, keep on gaming in the free world.
Amen to that, brother.